Alrighty, so today we're going to go ahead and to continue to talk about our segment in geometry. We know yesterday we went over our notes, about what the geometry lines are. We talked about many of different things. So who can remember some of the vocab words that we learned yesterday? Good. We learned about a ray. We learned about a point. Good. What else? The segment lines. Yes, very good. So, keeping those lines, vocab in mind, now we're going to go ahead and continue talking about our different types of angles. So, if you remember this worksheet from yesterday, we did this activity yesterday. If you were not here on yesterday, make sure you guys go into the absent folder and make sure you get your notes on lines and angles. And then I will come around and help you guys to do the angle meter. Okay, so to help us remember, there will be some times, you guys, where you will not be able to have a diagram or a picture to help you remember the different types of angles. So what we're going to do is what I like to call geometry sign language. We're going to go ahead and do some ways to help us remember. So the first thing I want you guys to do is warm up those hands, okay? Stretch those hands, because what we're going to do for us to help us remember is to use our fingers to help us. On a test later on, when you guys get into upper level classes such as 6th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, you take the SAT, the ACT, or the TSI test, you will not be able to have a diagram with you. Sometimes they'll give you a diagram, sometimes they will not give you a diagram. But one thing you will always have is your hands. So the first one that we're going to talk about, we learned about, was the acute angle. So on an acute angle, what hand signal do you think that you will use? Close, but something that you guys would normally do anyway, I've seen a lot of your pictures, is the peace symbol. Y'all go peace in your photos that you have. So if you're going to do the peace symbol or the sideways peace symbol, you can also think of it as scissors. And if you look at it, it matches our acute angle. Well, I'm doing it backwards, but it matches our acute angle. Okay, so this one, your acute angle will either be this way or it could be this way. So just remember, the peace symbol or the sideways scissors is the acute angle. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is our right angle. Remember on our meter how we did the little move the arrow? Okay, so to our right angle. Now our right angle, we will do our hand signal as this. So the L will be our right angle. Okay, if you take your L and place it on the graph, you guys will see how that makes that L shape. Okay, and the next one we're going to talk about is the obtuse angle. So one way you can do it as is this. I know in sign language this can mean something, but this is going to be our obtuse angle for our hand signals. If you kind of look, it kind of mimics that obtuse angle. Okay, and then we have our straight angle. Okay, so our straight. All right, so those are just different angles. So again, let's warm up our hands. Let's do it as a class. So the first one is our acute angle. Very good, you guys. The next one will be our right angle. Very good. The next one will be our obtuse. Okay, you can do it on both hands or one hand. Okay, and our straight. Those are our four main different types of angles that you will see throughout our entire geometry lessons. Eventually, as you get to upper level classes, you guys will see more different shapes or angles. But those are the four basic angles that you will see. So the first one, acute, right, obtuse, and straight. Okay, so remember those. So remember those as we go into our classwork for today. You guys should have grabbed that already in the back of the class. If you have not, go ahead and grab one of those classwork worksheets. And we're going to take time to label each 1. So what we're going to do is 1 through 4 on this side. The left side will be for us in class. And then once we go through all of the left side, you guys will do the right side. So one side I have labeled each one. Oh, excuse me. And then the next side says you try. You guys will do that in your individual groups. Okay? So the first one we have, it says, identify and classify each angle, line, or triangle below. Label the angle or triangle acute, right, or obtuse. So looking at our number 1. Number 1 says name the angle. Which angle do you remember from our hand signals is this first one? Correct. It is the right angle. So why or how did you know that that was the right angle? Very good. So what she said was she knows it was the right angle because 1, it makes that L shape like we just talked about. And 2, you can see the 90-degree section that they have right here. Okay. So number 1, we're just going to write right in the middle. Number 2, says name the angle. So now based on the different types of angles that we just talked about in our hand signals, which angle is this? Is it a acute angle, a right angle, obtuse angle, or a straight angle? Well, we're looking at it. Does it sit like an L? No. What does it sit like? That sideways peace sign. Yes, very good. Or those little scissors. Okay. So very good. This will be our acute angle. Okay, so now the next one's going to be a little tricky. Because now we haven't really talked about triangles, but we can still get the same concept by looking at the angles, right? Okay, so look at remembering our hand signals that we just did, and also looking at our angle meter. Which one classify the triangle as obtuse, acute, or right? Which angle would you guys classify that as? So just remember, do our hand signals. Acute, right, obtuse, straight. Which one would you guys classify this as? So we see it kind of has that little L shape, right? But is it straight like an L? No. Is it like the scissors or like a sideways peace sign? No. But is it a little bit bigger than a 90-degree angle? Yes, it is. So we could kind of say that that's more of an obtuse angle. So this one will be an obtuse angle. Okay, so for right now, you guys can see that this is more of an obtuse angle because it's not really straight up and down like a 90-degree angle. It's not like this one where it's more to the left, more closed, or like the greater than less than sign. Okay, that's another way to think about it. But it's a little bit bigger than a 90-degree angle. So let's try our last one here as a class. So the last one here as a class, this is classified the triangle or obtuse angle. Obtuse, acute, or right angle. So same as the last one. This one could be a little tricky too. What do you guys think? So we know it's not really as big as it's not really big as a obtuse angle, right? Because the mouth is not that big. It's not a right angle, so it has to be a what? Acute angle. Very good. An acute angle. Very good. So again, what did we just do? Here we just looked at the 2 different angles and see what they were. We see that it matches our hand signals, an L, so we know that's a right angle. This one, we see which hand signal that it matches. We know it didn't match the L, but it matched the acute angle, or our little scissors, or our little sideways peace sign. And this one for our triangle, we noticed it looks complicated, but we were able to use our hand signals. We were able to use our hand signals to determine which angle it was. And when we did our little hand signals to see, we noticed that it was an obtuse angle. And this one's a little bit trickier, but when we looked at it, we noticed that this was more of a acute angle based on it not being wide enough to be an obtuse, not being an L shape for right angle, so it has to be an acute angle. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you guys the remainder of the class to go ahead and work on the you try section. Remember, when it comes to triangles, definitely use your hand signals, definitely use your angles meter to determine which angle it is. And then when you finish that, go ahead and start your homework worksheet in class. Okay? Alrighty, if you have any questions, I'll be walking around, and you're free to ask a neighbor in your group as well. All right, let's get started.